we saw Florence Pugh face her demons. I would have liked to see.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to the Redacted Show. I'm your host, Wafiq, or Feek, with my co-host, my other host.
Co-host Dana Dane in the building. And we have a returning guest for the original supporters of the show. Y'all know who this man is. It is Mr. MrWhySoSerious. I don't know if he wants me to say his real name. I don't think we said his real name.
For the sake of this topic, we'll do it for this review. And for today's talk, Mr. MrWhySoSerious is good. It's good to see y'all again. Glad to be here.
Yes, this time with camera. Last time we had him on for our Black Panther Wakanda Forever review, but that was just the audio version. But before we get into our review, this is another redacted review of the recent Thunderbolts movie that came out this last weekend. We have some thoughts. We have some positive, and some people have some negative thoughts about it. Before we get into our review, just again, make sure y'all subscribe. We're trying to get to that honey bun, that 100 subscriber count,
done,
and to our 100 episode. It's coming soon. It's coming soon. And please subscribe, rate us a 5-star, share us word of mouth. Also, subscribe to our all listening platforms. We're on everything, even the ones that are discontinued. We're still on there. You can't listen to us through there, but we're still on them platforms. So just please, however you get your podcast media, we're there, and share us around. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into our non-sport review of the Thunderbolts. Preference disclaimer again. I feel I have to say this every time we have a movie review, because I live in a small town, so I did not have a theater experience like y'all may have had. Because when I went to see it, even though it was on a Sunday, it literally was me and 2 other people in a row behind me.
God damn.
So this is pretty tiny. Some people may have liked that. You know, I didn't really care, but I enjoyed my movie theater experience. I think this is some of Marvel's better movies they made in the past. Obviously, I think there was a point in the movie where it regressed back to the mean, meaning it had Marvel isms. For instance, there was a scene that I personally thought, Marvel did it again. They just couldn't resist themselves. And if y'all know what I'm talking about, well, we'll get into that scene in a little bit. But outside of that, I really liked it. I thought it was the mental health Avengers.
Yeah.
You know, it was a lot of that in there. There's a reason why Florence Pugh's character is on the front of that cover. This movie was pretty much her movie. I think this was her opportunity to kind of break out of the Black Widow Jr. stigma, because prior to this, she hasn't really done a lot. Like before, outside of Black Widow, she's only shown up in Hawkeye. Mm-hmm. And that's it. Like, we haven't really gotten a lot to her character. And what we did get was in Black Widow, which was a very controversial movie at the time. So I enjoyed that. I also enjoyed Bob. He's probably the only person I really enjoyed. Also, another thing I think it slipped on this movie, the what's his name? Red Guardian. I know I can't remember his real name, but Alexi. Red Guardian and Winter Soldier's dynamic on camera. We didn't get a lot of it, but when we did, I thought that was pretty good. And just, he was pretty much the life of the movie, in my opinion, because everybody else was pretty just dry. Not dry, but just like there's no real reason to root for them. Like John Walker's character, Ghost, even Florence Pugh at the beginning, they're like, y'all just some dickheads. Like, I really need y'all to just get off my screen a little bit. But I feel like Alexi, he was kind of the glue. Like, once she came there and got the team together. Like he was like the rah guy, like who kind of brought everything together. And Robert Reynolds. I'm rambling a lot right now, but all in all to say, I thought the movie was pretty solid. Some of Marvel's best stuff they done in Phase 5. This does cap off the end of Phase 5.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, that's pretty much my non-spoiler review. So serious. Does anyone want to give theirs before we get into
I'll give mine real quick. So, like Dana said, I agree with a lot of stuff Dana says. I really enjoyed the acting. I felt like in this movie you could see a lot of the cast chemistry, which I really enjoyed. It definitely was, like Dana said, the mental health Avengers or Thunderbolts, whatever you want to call it. Which I don't have a problem with. I think that was a real good premise they threw in because it pertains to Bob's character in the comics as well. But I kind of liked how they did it. Aside of that, I mean, I like the cinematography. There's an opening shot with Florence when she's fighting some goons. Well, damn, we can't say goon no more. Damn.
Oh shit!
But she fights some mercenaries. I guess that was a really cool scene. Oh man! Shit. All in all, I must cut my review short. All in all, I enjoyed the movie. I think it's one of the better acting movie wise. Storyline wise, the story was kind of. The story, you could see where it was going. It wasn't nothing profound, honestly, to me. But the acting, I felt, was some of the better that they've had in recent times, at least.
Cool. Well, again, I want to thank y'all for this opportunity to allow me to come on to y'all. Let me not do this. Thank y'all for allowing me to be here on this podcast to talk about another addition to the MCU. I want to congratulate the director and all of the actors who pretty much put this film together. If you ever seen a reviewer by the name of Soups on IG, that's how he begins his reviews. He thanks the director, the cast and crew, and everybody who puts a project together. Having said that, do you see this shirt here?
Yes, sir.
The reason why I'm wearing this shirt, this right here is the only thing that I feel that could possibly bring the MCU back to its former glory. Having said that, the movie was great, wasn't the best, and I gave the movie a 6 out of 10. I felt like there were parts in the movie from the beginning to the middle and also towards the end that everything was predictable. It was very predictable. There was nothing that was very like overly exciting. I think that I probably went into this movie saying that this is going to be like Marvel's Resurrection and that we were going to be back on track to where with all the other like projects that really didn't do too well. I was like, okay, well, this is going to be the answer to that. And then we're going to be in this next chapter. And I felt like after watching this film, I left the film feeling very underwhelmed. And I was like, bro, I do not want to be this person that has given up on the MCU. I actually said that this movie was probably on the same level as Eternals, but just a little step up. And I'm just going to say that. So,
that's a hot take. With that being said, we might as well go ahead and get into our spoiler talk. So at this point, if you have not seen the movie, first of all, make sure you subscribe and leave us a like. Come back, go watch the movie, and then come back and so you can have some say in the comments in this discussion. But if you're a new subscriber or new viewer, the way we do reviews, we don't do a play-by-play. We pretty much talk about the characters, different scenes that stuck out to us, and what we rated, what this may lead, and different things of that nature. So kind of going into what Jason said, I would not say it is on the same tier as Eternals, personally, But I do agree with your statement of it was. I could see it being predictable. One thing that stuck out to me was, I think when they introduced, like when Bob came out in his Century costume, that scene was what made me think Marvel just cannot help themselves. Meaning the CG, like the choreography, all that scene, that CG to me was not good. I don't know if, because I saw the movie in 3D, I don't know if it was by 3D glasses. The shit was only like $12. It was like a $12 movie. So I was just like,
and this was, and the two people behind you, they saw it in 3D as well, right? It's very telling that you said that, because it was pretty much like an empty theater where only, it's okay. I get it. I get what you're saying about that particular scene. As I was watching it, I was like, okay, the costumes, comic book accurate. This is where it's really about to pick up. And it was just like, oh, they're gonna try to jump him and they're gonna lose. It was one of those very like predictable scenes that was just like, y'all are not gonna be able to beat this man at all.
No.
We saw all this coming. We saw it all coming. But it was nice how it was set up, but it was just very anticlimactic. The entire, not just that scene, just the entire movie. Can we go back to the beginning of the movie? Can I ask y'all a question real quick? Was Taskmaster Wheaties box like worthy? Like,
no.
Why was Taskmaster even on the movie posters? Why was Taskmaster, like, if y'all were going to go, and the way that Taskmaster was killed, it literally, like, I'm just like, oh, okay. I understand why it happened, but y'all could have did it a better way. Like, just shot in the head. Like, come on now.
Yeah, the Taskmaster thing, I feel like, one, we knew Taskmaster was gonna die. Everybody in the world knew that up to this point. But the way it happened, like you said, it was so dirty. I was like, why even have him in the movie? I said it was no point to even have a Taskmaster in the movie. You could have had the most random extra mercenary, and just, you couldn't even give him a name. Just said, oh yeah, this is a Ox group person that I sent in too, just to double check on y'all. You killed him. And that would have did the same thing. That Taskmaster thing, the only way I see, well, really what they tried to do with it was try to connect it back to Yelena, in the sense of saying she knows her, and it's trying to it was trying to pull on the heartstrings a little bit, but it fell so flat.
That didn't pull on shit.
It did. But I'm saying it was what it was trying to do, it was trying to push the story forward with like, oh, we're just mercenaries. It doesn't we don't know we're gonna die. But it was so bland the way it done that I figured out what it was saying, but I was like, it wasn't that. You could have left that shit out.
Because what did Yelena say? Like, oh, she had a hard life and she killed some people.
Yeah, and then she was because that's when Ava
was like, that's her. All of us. Like we've all had a hard. Basically, she was like, she did that. We're no better than her. We're all the same person, basically.
Yeah.
But I texted Pete this. I was here for it. I'm like, thank God, because the way the one thing I hated about that Black Widow movie was Taskmaster. I was like, this is so lazy. This is so disrespectful. I'm like, why even? And the only person I feel bad for is the actress herself, because she probably thought, man, I'm about to be part of this big immersive world. I got my bag. I'm in the MCU. Y'all niggas can't tell me shit.
No.
Well, they kind of did the character pretty bad. And just even, I think that scene just proved Marvel's listening, and they know they fucked up with that character. So they're like, I think they needed a reason, because they could have just not put her in the movie. But my thing is, there still would have been that small sect, that loud minority of people like, where's Taskmaster? Like, y'all still need to answer this question. So they're like, to shut all the questions up, we're going to do this right here, right now. And I was here I'm like, thank God. We don't need this other character no more. Maybe they'll bring Taskmaster back, a more comic book accurate version. Who knows? I'm just glad that character does not exist anymore. So I like that scene. I was like, thank God. We don't, no questions. Get her out of here.
It was just easy. I mean, like as far as like when did the trailer actually drop? Like sometime like last year. And when
Yeah, I
you
think it
kept
was near
seeing
the
the
end.
same trailer, it was just like, oh, Taskmaster is only in this room. You don't see Taskmaster outside. You don't see Taskmaster fighting us alongside him. Taskmaster just in this doing the same like fight moves type thing. And I think that what they could have did is did how they did in Iron Man 3 with the Mandarin. You know, how Iron Man 3 had like the Mandarin, and it was like, dang, like that, you know, with the actor and everything, and then came
Mhm.
back and did something like this. But nah, they didn't have to like murk her the way that they did. They could have did something a little bit different.
And I think
They could have.
another way that they kind of hinted like this movie is going from this movie's gonna be missing another person is the way they changed the
Oh,
asterisk. Because
yeah,
before it
Oh yeah.
started at
yeah. Six,
six little
yeah.
points, then it changed to 5 within the past few months. I'm like, oh yeah.
Mhm.
Once I noticed that, I was like, she's done, so like
Mhm.
gone. I thought it was just gonna be like the Century slatting her in half.
Yeah,
I didn't think
thought
it was
he
gonna
was
be
gonna
a
kill
good
her.
shot to the head, but
She never left. She never left that room. Never, never left the
you're
room.
right. I thought it was one of those like, oh, Marvel edits this person out of the trailer because they love doing that shit. But no,
Mhm.
you're right. She never left that room. Good. Because what else would she have done in the movie? That's my other question. Like,
Brought up everybody else fighting style that she done
That's
seen
it.
and not did nothing.
Because how would she
just
have beat
taking up more
Sentry?
space. She
Nothing.
wouldn't have.
She would have got whooped like everybody else,
Yeah.
but worse.
I also think that was like I think this whole movie was Marvel's attempt at trying to do a Suicide Squad. They're like, well, we seen James Gunn do it already, and you know they had success. They're like, why can't we do that? So they finally grew some nuts and tried to, but it's just like they can't get out of their own way. Like just when you thought it was leaning into this theme of a spy espionage, you know, kind of adult tea comedy type humor, we gotta hit you with the bad CG. We gotta hit you with the untimely jokes.
Would y'all
We
say that
gotta
this? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Would y'all say that this movie was on the same level since you're talking about like spy movies and all of that with the espionage? Would y'all say it's on the same level as Winter Soldier?
No,
Okay.
I don't think they released anything in the
Did
past. I don't know
someone
how
tell
long.
you they was?
I don't think there's released anything recently that's as good as Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And I like Marvel, but they ain't released nothing that good in a minute.
I think probably, yeah, because I think these last two trailers, well, more so with Brave New World, they tried to paint this as, oh, this is gonna be just as espionage as Winter Soldier. Like the trailers and everything spoke to that, and I wanted that movie to succeed so bad. I think it was still good. It was still solid. I think it's still important we have a black Captain America, but the movie didn't help his case a lot.
Yeah. How do y'all because how do y'all feel about Florence Pugh? Because for me, honestly, yes, she was the lead. I think, and to be for real, she was. This is partially recency bias. I think she's a better
Black
Black
Widow.
Widow. I think she's a better Black Widow.
I will say that. Yeah. I will say that when I was watching the movie and stuff, and I think it was when they were, I don't know when she first met like with Red Guardian after she went and did like the explosion thing in the beginning, and there were
Mm-hmm.
like a couple of scenes, and they somehow I forgot that she wasn't like Black Widow, and I was like, oh, she could be like the new age like Black Widow because she does a good job with that. I will give her that because even though I miss Scarlett Johansson and stuff, and I would like for her to come back, if she doesn't come back and it's Florence Pugh, I'm okay with that. She did an amazing job to make people believe, you know, she's a good Black Widow.
Yeah, like everything y'all said, kind of just I think goes back to my point of just like this was her opportunity to get out of that shadow,
Mm-hmm.
and like you said, I think she was some of the highlights of the movie on top of like Red Guardian's humor and just David Harbour, he's just a great actor. Like he understood the assignment. I think he enjoys playing Red Guardian. Like I could see we need more of that, but to Florence Pugh, his character, yeah, like I think she after this movie, she is the de facto Black Widow. All right, well now the leader of this new Avengers.
Yeah, because after watching, I was like, what I've been trying to do in these recent Marvel projects is see who is like, I guess you say the faces of the new MCU. So we know we got Sam Wilson. We know we got Tom Holland. Ish.
I disagree, but you can go ahead.
But I'm just saying, like the big character. We know we got Tom Holland ish. And right now, honestly, off this movie, I'd say she's at this point, she has to be another face.
She is.
Because the way she was able to drive this plot, and outside of, I do agree with y'all. I do agree with the point you made, Jason, earlier about the movie being very predictable. But outside of that, just the acting wise, I was able to sit back and enjoy the acting so much that I was like, damn, they took some lessons. They went into that A24 bag the way they kept promoting it like that, like an A24 film. I said, okay, y'all learned something, because I think that was, to me, that was the highlight of the actual movie, the acting, that I really enjoyed. I do have one question, because I know, Dana, you brought it up earlier, and I don't know if you was talking about for Thunderbolts or just past Marvel stuff when you were saying the jokes are like bland or predictable. Were you talking about Thunderbolts? Because to me, I'll be honest, to me, the jokes on this one felt more natural than a lot of shit they released recently.
Yeah, I just kind of think of sitting more on. I think these jokes were a little bit more funny outside. It wasn't like a Love and Thunder or a Quantumania where it's like we got a tough scene and then boom, we gotta cut in with some bad humor. We gotta slide that in. I thought it was in this movie being serious. I would say this was done a little bit better, but because like the scenes that were tough, they were pretty tough. Like even the scene where she was talking to Alexi and was like I needed you, like I needed you, but Alexi was saying like I didn't know how to reach out. And I'm like, man, that's, even though the dialogue they had back and forth, it was pretty funny, but like that's some real shit. A lot of people now go through that, and I thought that was pretty well done, and that was one of my favorite scenes in the movie, outside of Bob going straight domain expansion on New York. Niggas at this point, New York.
New York is hell, boy. New York is hell itself, boy.
But you could argue the Sentry did New Yorkers a favor, because he got every one of them niggas to go in they chamber and face they demons, and everyone came out a better person.
But why the little girl? Why did the little girl have to? I'm like, this man did all of this, and then the little girl gets took out too. Like, what the hell?
What demon is she fighting?
And she only 5 years old. Like,
that's like
that scene was crazy. I won't lie. When that scene happened, our whole theater said, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. And I think probably y'all probably, well, besides Dana, because he only had 3 people in his theater. I didn't have that really big of a big like theater experience. Like it was a lot of people in the theater, but like the reactions and stuff, like I'm always comparing stuff to how Infinity War and Endgame was with the reactions and stuff. And we really didn't get that many like reactions and stuff from the theater, except for when the little girl got the little Thanos snap of the Sentry, snap and all of that, or the Void snap. But I don't know. It would just seem like everything was just, we're just going to watch a movie and then we're going to leave type of thing. It was just very right here. And what's also interesting to me, and that we really haven't talked about, how come y'all haven't brought up Winter Soldier or the Captain America character or even Ghost?
Well, Ghost, I'll say this. I do like how they did Ghost. I think because to me, Ghost was the most forgettable character, one of the most forgettable characters in all this shit in the whole MCU. I forgot she existed.
Outside of Taskmaster.
Yeah. But I really liked how they gave her a personality, and you got to see it on display because before this, boy, they announced Ghost is in this movie. I said, she gonna die too.
I thought she was, yeah.
I thought she was gonna die too.
And then with the John Walker character, I think they, he had a little. I wish they would have expounded just a little bit more on his character, because there were moments where they wanted to, like where they went and talked about his previous life, like,
your wife left you.
Your wife left you, man.
That's crazy. I won't. Okay. My bad to cut you off, but for theater experiences, I will say when Bucky said that shit, nigga, our theater said, "Oh."
No, but I just, I would have, because we remember them from Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like, they seemed like a unit. So clearly that happened after that, and that's never really expounded upon. Even a scene where they went in the void and we saw Florence Pugh face her demons. I would have liked to see the others go through there. Even Bucky. Like, yes, we've explored his trauma, but I want to just maybe other stuff we didn't learn, or just outside of him killing Tony Stark's parents.
Yeah. That's what Bucky was reliving. He was reliving that night. He was reliving that night.
You think John Walker was reliving that moment he killed that?
In the street. I forgot about that. He killed him. I was like, he just kept, yeah.
And that was when he was like the Captain America. Like, star on the shield and everything. I'm like, God damn.
He lost his confidence after the Dora Milaje did what they did to him. Yeah. That was it.
Yeah.
Jason,
because that was the moment he took the serum.
Jason, how'd you feel about the extra characters outside of Florence?
Which extra characters?
I mean, Bucky, he said no.
I'm not trying to taint nobody's thing. It's just like, at this point, I'm glad that he's a congressman and everything, but it just seems like Winter Soldier does not have a happy day at all. It's always like, he done went through something. Now he has to try to, go through his past and try to rectify all that stuff. So you become this congressman. He don't have no happy scenes or anything like that. It's always just stale. The other characters and stuff, Ghost, are you talking about Ghost and then John Walker and all them?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were not that memorable. They weren't. I'm glad that, Ghost got to fight and got to, disappear and then come back and all that. It's just the whole thing. I don't know what other characters they could have elevated. Like, y'all could have, outside of Taskmaster, y'all could have brought an Eternal back. Y'all could have brought that girl back from Secret Invasion and probably tried to elevate some characters like that. But it just kind of just fell flat for me with all the characters. It is. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I feel like with the other, I'm gonna just call her Daenerys, because I don't know the actress's real name, but from Secret Invasion, I think they're trying to use her and someone else on what's the team? Excalibur. They're trying to save her for that, pretty much the UK Avengers.
Oh, with really?
Great Captain Britain and all of them. I think that's what they're trying to do with her, and build that up. But the problem with that is Marvel, they plant these seeds and they never nourish them. They don't water them, but then the seeds just don't grow. But how did you feel about the Sentry?
Oh, me? Yeah. I mean, he was cool. I mean, the thing was, I wish that he would have been able to get his powers and stuff when they were in the room and stuff. The Bob character, and I felt kind of it felt cringe to me that they were talking so much heavy, because I had kids and stuff around me that they were talking much about what did he do, meth or something? And they kept talking about he was doing drugs or something back. I'm just kids don't know what like meth is. So it was just kind of awkward to kind of be saying that, it was just like, but it was all right. I remember when they were making this movie that there was supposed to be another actor to play the Sentry, and then this dude like stepped in. I think it was supposed to be some Asian guy who was supposed to be Sentry, and then he couldn't do it because of some other contractual or
Yeah, it
some
was
other thing that he had.
Stephen Yeun.
Yeah. So I probably would have liked to have seen what his interpretation or how he would have been on the screen, but it was all right. It was okay.
I'm not gonna lie, that meth scene, that shit was funny to me.
I was like, oh my God.
Oh, that joke was funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
I did like how they with his character, and I think that's something Marvel's trying to do a little bit more is not, I won't say not do traditional superhero because all this stuff is traditional superhero stories, but I think they're trying to lean more into like the other aspects of story, like the mental health thing. Because even though that's part of his character, I didn't think they was gonna go that deep into it. Especially not showing, but hearing the scene of like his dad beating on his mom, all that stuff. I didn't think that stuff was gonna happen. Nothing like that. So I think it's interesting to see Marvel, I guess you could say, challenge itself. But I think one thing that's gonna be tricky for them is how much they go into it in the future. Like, are they gonna keep diving into these topics, or are they gonna be surface level? So that's the thing that's kind of, I guess, iffy for me. My fear is,
I feel like it's gonna lean more to surface level because they still, like, at the end of the day, this is still a Disney IP, and they want to sell toys and sell rides. So they're gonna they're gonna dip their toe just enough to where they can still have kids in there. Like you said, JC, you had kids in that movie, but they don't know what the fuck meth is.
But I was just like,
why are we talking about drugs in this?
It was very awkward. It was very awkward. But Disney and Marvel can do whatever they want to do. Like, if you look at back where we were at around this time or a little bit, last year when Deadpool and Wolverine, I didn't know that they were going to be I knew that they was going to be rated R. So it opened it up to be like, okay, well, you can do this. You can talk about this. I think, like I said, when I left the theaters, I think they're trying to grab straws and stuff and just try to grab onto anything to be able to resurrect and have that same feeling that we had around Infinity War, Civil War, and Endgame. And I think they're just having these titles and stuff to get us ready for Doomsday. And even with the post-credit scene, can we talk about the post-credit scene?
Yeah.
Well, before we do that, how do we feel about Val's character?
Man, no.
I really didn't care for her. I mean, if their job was to make us hate her, okay, then yeah, they did their job. And the crazy thing for me, I thought that there was some kind of like theories about her assistant, like she was wearing like this necklace or something, and they said that she was supposed to be some kind of like Marvel character or something, but she didn't do anything. And I would have liked to have seen if her character was supposed to do something, but with Valentina, nah. I mean, she did her job to make us hate her, but.
Yeah, to me, she was outside of Taskmaster. I didn't care for her character. Yeah. I mean, she was in there. The only part that really made me hate her was at very end. I won't even say hate. I was just like, ain't no way. That very end where she was, she showed the reporters, all of them, and she was like, this is the new Avengers. Mm-hmm. That was the only time I was like, really, bro? Mm-hmm. But outside of that, her character was kind of just there. And I won't say annoying, but I was like, hey. I was with Red Guard. I said, can y'all kill this? Can y'all get rid of her or something, or get her arrested at this point?
I only have 3 words. White Amanda Waller. That being said, definitely. So going into because mid-credit scene, that doesn't mean anything. Post-credit scene.
You don't want no cereal?
Yeah. You don't like Wheaties, man?
I don't.
You don't like Thunderbolts?
But post-credit scene, so for those, again, at this point, if you make it, if you're at this point, you don't care. But spoil. So, end credit scene. They're in 14 months later. They're in the newly reinvented Avengers Tower, and there's some strife, obviously, because at the end of Brave New World, Captain America, Sam Wilson, is making his own team. So now, at this point in the story, we have two quote-unquote Avengers teams. And they're trying to feel like, who are the real Avengers? Or is it these essentially dark Avengers from the comics, or the Avengers, Sam Wilson's team? And they're talking about that. They get an intercom because Yelena says, "Oh, we got a space crisis." They get an image. It's a ship coming down to Earth. It turns over, and we see the four from the upcoming Fantastic Four first steps. Mm-hmm. So when I seen that, I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, okay, this is one of their longest end credit scenes they've had since I don't know when. It's been a minute. Probably maybe. Because I think that end credit scene was like 2.5 minutes. But I almost felt nervous because, again, when I was sitting in there, everyone else, I'm saying everyone else, like it wasn't just two other folk. When the movie ended, they got up and left.
So it was just you?
It was just me. Even as the credits were rolling, the people came in, like the movie theater people about to clean up. Yeah. I'm like, I hope they don't tell me to leave. So I'm like, damn. But we see that. When I seen it, I was like, oh, okay, well, this is probably one of their better end credit scenes they've had in a while. You know, something that actually leads to the other movie. Mm-hmm. What do y'all think about it?
Maybe I'm the only one. I think probably like Jeff or something. He probably saw what I saw. I was looking at as the credits were rolling and stuff, and it got to like the music score, and they were doing like the credits and stuff, and then on the side of it, it said Fantastic Four theme. And I was thinking about like in the movie, I said, they didn't talk about the Fantastic Four. And I was like, oh, bro, they just saw the Fantastic Four in them. So it was spoiled for me. And it was just like, I stayed off of social media. I tried not to look at anything. I didn't look at no reviews or anything. And just probably like 10 seconds before the scene was supposed to start, I saw like Fantastic Four theme. And I said, bro, they're going to show the Fantastic Four in some kind of way. So I was kind of like, had I not seen that, I probably would have appreciated it a little bit more. But it would have been just as predictable. I was like, they have to tie it in somehow into the next movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I didn't see that spoiler.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed the scene. I mean, I started clapping. Mm-hmm. It was like half of our theater started clapping, the other half was gone. I don't know why people was leaving, but I really enjoyed this scene. But what it does tell me,
dead.
It ain't dead. It's just been on a lull. But what that scene does tell me about Fantastic Four is them niggas planet get fucked.
Oh man, destroyed.
Yeah, the only thing that I walked out of there like, damn. Well, that kind of spoils the outcome of Fantastic Four. Like, we know Galactus is about to have a buffet on them niggas' planet, so we know Fantastic Four is coming, and Franklin, because Franklin is born during the events of First Steps, hence the name. So that was another thing I was thinking, because I was thinking this could either be before the ship turn. I'm like, this is either Doom's ship or something else. I was thinking like, okay, well, like you said, Jason, they gotta tie this. So it's Doomsday somehow. So I'm thinking, okay, well, Doom. Because I'm thinking back then in the early 10 years of Marvel, everything led to Thanos. So unless they pull a wild card and Jonathan Majors walk through that bitch again.
They not letting him 50 feet near the set, boy.
Man.
I hope they got his picture up on a wanted poster, bro.
Oh, shit. I actually hope not, because that means they're just gonna slaughter him. They're gonna pull a fucking Taskmaster. They're gonna slaughter him in the first 30 seconds.
They gotta tie the loop somehow, man. They got to.
I mean,
they gotta do something, man.
If they're able to do this in Thunderbolts, they're probably just as bold to do it in Doomsday.
Yeah.
I will say they probably do gotta. If they don't kill him on screen, they're gonna have to mention it off screen, because Loki was too big of a show and he was all in that, and Loki is probably their best show, so you can't leave that out.
Mm-hmm.
So they got to mention him for at least 1 minute.
Yeah, I will say so, because there was a lot to kind of unpack from that. Because now it makes me think, okay, we're gonna have essentially at least 4 teams in Doomsday. We're gonna have the 2 Avengers teams from 616, the Fantastic Four, and the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to say if Doom don't bring his own niggas in there.
Yeah,
because we know Chris Evans is coming back. There's rumors and the popular theory he's gonna bring his own Cabal type team where it's Hydra Cap and some other niggas, Hyperion, I don't know. But pretty much they're his own Dark Avengers, which is what the leader alluded to. And I also brought this up when we did our Brave New World review. Like, it might just be the X-Men. They come in, they're trying to protect their planet, and they fucking up the 616 in the process, which is how we get mutant hate. Because these other people from this world, they don't know who they are. They're like, who are y'all to think y'all can just come in here and say we don't matter, essentially? Fuck all y'all. Fuck all this mutant shit. Or there's someone that comes up, whether it's a William Stryker or some FOA person from 616, like, it's the mutants that did this. They did this to our planet. They're a problem. They're a menace to society. And then that's how we get into the mutant saga. Because we know this is not a secret. Kevin Feige wants to jump into mutants so bad. It's not even funny.
Because that's
like,
what everybody's anticipating, what they want. That's what everybody wants. My only thing is this here. After we jump into the mutant saga, what else is it?
Like, better bring back them Inhumans. Shit. Outside of Hulk. Outside of that, Nova? I don't know.
I don't know if you remember that report that. Don't get me started.
Oh, sorry. That was a South Park. My bad. We're not going to talk about Blade? Okay.
Man, that movie not happening.
Especially after Sinners. Ain't no way we get a Blade movie within 2 years of Sinners coming out. Especially after reports. But
don't talk about it.
So, in credit scene, obviously, I think personally it was exciting, but I'm like, damn, y'all kind of spoiled the end of Fantastic Four. But it's like we kind of knew that was going to happen because Galactus, like, who's stopping that?
Yeah,
Reed Richards ain't that. He's the smartest nigga in the universe, but he ain't that powerful to stop an immovable object or like an unstoppable force.
Shit, he said it on the trailer. They said, "What can we do?" He said, "I don't know."
So we'll protect you. Are we gonna be all right? We will protect you. No, you're not.
I'm also interested to see how they bring up, because I think there's gonna be like an end credit scene or some scene in the Fantastic Four movie where they talk about Robert Downey Jr. Doom. I think he's gonna show up.
Man.
At this point in that timeline of that universe's Fantastic Four, he's been Doom. Like, he didn't like in the movie, he's just becoming Doom. He's been Doom as long as they've been the Fantastic Four. So
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
He's been. I was about to say gooning around. He's been on the street, but I don't think they're gonna show him.
He gonna teleport Latveria to Earth, the next Earth.
Because he's gonna be him. This is all setting up what Battle World. Like once they all did, because what's gonna end up happening? There was like reports and stuff that all these worlds and stuff get like destroyed or something, and it's only gonna be like his world that he like creates.
And all that's how Battle World is. But they do, because it's Secret Wars and Secret Wars, then Secret Wars. They do I forgot which iteration of it, but they fight and then it goes to Battle World because they take pieces of each kind of like world or universe and make one.
Which I don't know if they're gonna. I think what they'll do in Doomsday is essentially kind of how they did Infinity War. Like it's gonna be about the Avengers, but it's more so gonna be about Doom being a threat, and y'all need to watch out. Like essentially what they did in Infinity War with Thanos, I think they're gonna do that with Doom times 20. So on a grander scale, and it's like it has to be because it's involving other universes.
They gonna make Doom kill all the anchor beings and set up new anchor beings in these universes and take pieces from them. I'm just saying random shit.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh, I was in there. I was right there with you. I was like, that's all right.
I'm just saying random shit. But that would be kind of live if he go in there like either kill the anchor beings or take them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that in the original comic run, the anchor being, quote unquote, unless you want to call it that, was Molecule Man. So unless they introduce Molecule Man in Fantastic Four, we need an equivalent to that. Which, like you said, it could be the anchor beings because they are the literal anchor of their universes. If he's going around taking them all, my question is, who's the anchor being in 616?
Ironheart.
Oh, where the trailer at?
Exactly.
Where the trailer at?
I didn't want to go into it, but I'm like, we're not talking about
that trailer
or the Wonder Man show or any other. We're not gonna talk about the other projects. Okay.
Man.
Yeah, because the last movie in this phase is Thunderbolts, and I think the last, and that goes into phase 6. So I think everything after Fantastic Four is phase 6, including the shows. So we got, because Ironheart is supposed to come out next month.
Next month, yeah,
June 24th.
Oh, we haven't
June 24th, 2020. We haven't heard. We've only gotten TV spots.
No,
Marvel TV spots. That show comes out next month, feet.
Do you know what I think that Marvel is going to do? They're going to drop all the episodes when it premieres. It's not going to do a week-to-week thing. It's just going to be, here y'all go. Here's Ironheart. No promotion, no trailer. I don't even think I've seen like a poster or anything. Nothing.
Well, do you remember when they had like that first look when it was Riri Williams' face and then the mask?
Yeah.
And then that just caught all the hate in the world.
Oh, man.
All the biggest came out their caves.
Oh, yeah.
Came from under their bridges.
Again, this is their problem. They introduce a character in a project, and they don't do anything with him for 2 years. Then like, let's throw him in a project. People care about him, right? No, we haven't seen her since fucking Wakanda Forever.
But people are excited to see whatchamacallit. The same thing with Shang-Chi. When's the last time that Shang-Chi was in something? Was that 2022 or 23?
The last thing Shang-Chi was in was his own movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought that was like 19. Was that 20? It was a long time ago.
The pandemic came and went.
The funny thing is, if you him on Twitter,
came out in 2021.
Oh God, on what's his name? Simu Liu. Yeah, when they was announcing The Doomsday Cast.
Oh, the
He was
chairs, yeah.
sweet. I think it was like, I hope I have a job.
Yeah.
Was his name on the list?
Yeah,
it was.
Oh, yeah. We talked about that. I think so. I think his second movie isn't coming out until after the Secret Wars. Like
Might
it's
not come out.
Phase 7. He's definitely coming back for the movie, but I'm like, who cares? Like he's probably gonna be on Sam Wilson's West Coast Avengers.
Yeah.
It's probably because let's just guesstimate the teams right now. So obviously we know on the Dark Avengers, we got Yelena Belova, Red Guardian, Winter Soldier, Ghost,
Sentry,
and John Walker. And on Sam's team, it's probably going to be Sam, Miss Marvel, maybe.
I wouldn't even think her.
But what about all these young? But we also have to, because even at the end of what movie was that? When she was recruiting, was it at the Marvels?
That was
the Marvels.
Like
was it the Marvels?
With the young Avengers and stuff. You still got to think about like Kate Bishop and all these other young folks, the little Black Panther cub.
They ain't gonna be young.
I'm saying, like all these, like they introduced all these young characters and stuff. So I was saying, like, what's gonna end up happening with them?
They're not gonna be young no more. That's why they're changing it to champions. Because by the time they make it, it's not. They're gonna be like in their teens.
But that's gonna be the whole team too. Shit, that's gonna be a fifth team.
Yeah, so it's probably gonna be Sam Wilson, his Torres, the Falcon in that movie.
Oh yeah.
Shang-Chi. Whatever Miss Captain Marvel had, I don't think she doing. Thor, maybe. Thor, if that nigga, well, we know he's coming back because
probably Shuri
and dead. Yeah, Shuri.
Namor is gonna be in the movie, but I don't know.
Namor gonna be
trying to flood somebody.
Namor gonna be trying to fuck Sue.
Oh yeah, because he's he's in the whatchamacallit. She's in there, yeah. After she done had a baby, God damn, man.
They gonna throw Aquafina on that bitch.
Keep her away from this movie, bro.
Just keep her. Like they just need to taskmaster her. If there's one character that y'all could have taskmaster, put her in the Thunderbolts and taskmaster her, bro.
Oh man,
I stand her as a character. Can't stand her as an actress. Yeah, do her like that.
Just
you don't think she's funny?
Bro. No, not at all.
Hell no.
Black scent throws me off each time. It's just like the little things that she try to do to sound black and try to. No, it's the same. Yeah, you know how y'all said it was. Who was it? Michael B. Jordan. That was the same character or something like that.
Don't say y'all. That's them. That's Pete and Jax. They say that.
I thought it was y'all as a collective. Aquafina's the same character. Same character.
My biggest gripe is my only gripe about that take is if y'all have the same take about Mike B. Jordan, you need to have that same energy to Keanu Reeves because he's the same nigga. He's John Wick. He's just John Wick in all his movies. And before John Wick, he was just Neo.
You can't say that. I'm sorry. And Constantine and Speed, The Matrix, completely different characters. I'm sorry.
No.
They're completely different characters.
He didn't do shit in Constantine.
I'm sorry. And even in Shadow and Sonic 3, different character, man. That was definitely depth.
Speak on it. Speak on it.
John Wick. That was John Wick, the Hedgehog.
Not at all.
You know it.
We're not gonna talk about Keanu Reeves, bro. We're not gonna talk about Keanu Reeves, bro. You're gonna have to put some respect on his name, man. Aquafina, we could talk about, not Keanu.
But so back to the Thunderbolt. We pretty much talked about the movie ad nauseum.
Yeah. What are y'all final ratings on the movie? Well, Jason, we know yours, but you can say it one more time for the.
I will say it's a 6 out of 10. I can honestly say it was a 6 out of 10. But then I read Jeff's review on his like Medium site, and I'm like, okay, with the mental health and then the battling the inner demons, I was like, okay, Had I known that going into the movie, because I'm always comparing each of these Marvel movies to like Infinity War and Endgame. Like you got to try to at least get there or do something to it. So my original was a 6 out of 10. After reading that and understanding that, I give it a 7 out of 10. 7.
Okay. My rating. So I've been reassessing my ratings of movies. So Thunderbolts off the first watch, as this phase of Marvel, it is an 8 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
If I wanted to compare it to all the past projects, not just this phase, it's a 7 out of 10.
See?
But I will say this, the acting wise on this movie, I think it's not the best in all of MCU, but I think it's in the upper tier of Marvel acting and cast chemistry. Because there's been some casts that I could tell them niggas don't like each other. But yeah, that's how I said it. 8 out of 10. If I wanted to compare to everything else, 7 out of 10. But it has some of the best acting in all the MCU.
That's fair.
I'll say it's about 7.5. Yeah, about 8 at its highest. Enjoyable. I think at the end of the day, it's still a Marvel movie, but that's not a bad thing. And I think people need to understand that. But I do think, Marvel is trying to go for the jugular because they know James Gunn and his DCU is coming.
Yeah, they know Superman flying in.
About to take his lunch. They about to take their lunch money.
We'll see
after the next few years. But I think that's everything. So this is not a normal episode. We will not have a Get in Our Bag or redacted rules. But thank you again, Mr. MrWhySoSerious, for coming out. Saying that like we ain't say his real name.
Yeah, I was like all through the thing. I was just about to be like, bro,
I didn't realize it till like halfway through. I said, damn.
That's what Jason was saying. I was like, dang. But yes, you can follow me on all social media platforms at MrWhySoSerious. It's been a pleasure to talk with you all. If you haven't already, please go and see the Thunderbolts, Marvel's new iteration to the MCU.
Yes. And with that being said, it's been your boy Dana Dane.
It's been your boy Wafik.
And the one and only MrWhySoSerious.
We out.
Peace.
Recipes call me, I'ma show 'em how to shoot. On the 4-5, jump in the ass, my crew. Yeah, I'm stepping with a fat, keeping all of the hoes on mute. Pull up part, could be yellow in a brew. 48 for a quick burst. Crazy 8s in the back, yeah, the trunk on hot like a cube. 40 on me when I'm in the backseat. Blotter, paper pre-cut. Chris make juice, it'll drop like Chain came with a clean plate, came with a sink. The Parator came with a mate. Tricones white like paint. My hoe by the hoe, cause she know it's my king. Hit on my side, cause I drop a song. Think you should hit on the link. The phenotype came from the pink Colombian thing. Yeah, the genetics unique. Cellular right on the beat. I'm teaching the hoe like I'm Play-Doh. I got the veggies like by the tomato. You got a basic hoe making Alfredo. I put a bag on a hoe on my payroll. I get active and